Hello, welcome to Geeky Hijinks, home and mischief makers, and today we're looking at Fear Street Part 1. So Fear Street is a trilogy event that's been based on books by Stine brought onto Netflix. In each Friday, starting from Friday the 2nd of July, they're going to release a new movie and it'll all sort of link in. And the first one is called 1994, the second one is 1978, and the last one is 1666. And they're kind of working their way backwards. So it's like the beginning one is the last one, but then they go back in time a little bit, and I think that's how it's going to go. And all of these were based on books by R.L. Stine. Now, R.L. Stine, if you don't know who he is, what's wrong with you? Because I may have not read the Fear Street books, but everyone on this planet should have at least read one Goosebump book. So what is Fear Street in 1994 about? Well, before I go into details, it's kind of like if you mix it with Stranger Things and a film's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and give it an 18 certificate and just mash them up, and voila, you've got Fear Street. But in regards to details, essentially about a bunch of kids in high school in the 90s, and they go to a vigil because there's a tragedy early on in the film which they must attend, and on the way back from this vigil they come across something that causes them issues, and for the rest of the film they're trying to escape and solve how to remove said issue from their lives. And I'll be honest guys, I was kind of underwhelmed by this, and that's not to say it's a bad film, because it's not. It's entertaining, it's got some fun characters which I'll touch on in a moment, but overall when I finished I was just like, meh. I will touch on what I liked about this film, and that was the opening scene. That opening scene really ramps up your intrigue. What is this film about? That was quite a brutal first scene. I like it, like I want more of this please. And after that, yeah, it was entertaining, but that first scene kind of gave me something I wish the rest of the film was. It had a lot of Scream vibes, and I don't mind Scream. I think like it's okay. It's not my favourite slasher film, but it kind of gave me that first scene with Drew Barrymore with the phone ringing. There are parts in this film where I feel like I was watching a 90s film. I miss the 90s sometimes, and they're stupid horror films, but they're amazing. The music in this film is amazing. Like when I heard Prodigy and I heard Radiohead, I'm just like I'm in my happy place. Happy place. Prodigy and Radiohead, take me away now. The music's great in this film. It's really, really good. And the characters are really good in this film too. Even though this film wasn't too impactful, I still remember the characters. So there was the main character, that was Dina, and her brother Josh. They were cool. There's a girlfriend, Sam, who for me was the weakest link in this entire film. She was very bland, very boring, no presence. Like every time she came on screen, I was like, get off my screen. And I liked Kate and Brian. Kate and Brian are my favourite characters. So my next thing I liked in this was the killers. The killers were so cool. Again, if you've seen the trailer, you pointed out our killers in this, but it reminded me of like the slasher films of old. You had a guy with like an axe, you had like a slasher villain with like not the scream mask but a skull mask. There was like a little crazy girl, and there was a scene that kind of introduced them all. They reminded me of 13 Ghosts. Remember like when all the ghosts were introduced in that film? They kind of had like a nowhere near as good as 13 Ghosts, but had a little montage scene kind of introducing the different killers in this like Fear Street universe. So yeah, the killers were really cool in this film too. And there's some good gore. There was two moments in this film though, one in particular that made me feel quite sick. I'm not gonna lie to you, it caught me off guard, it shocked me, it kind of made me feel how I felt when I watched main characters in Game of Thrones dies. Again, trying to avoid spoilers at all costs, but there was like two scenes I saw and I was like,
oh my god.
But my problem with this film, it just felt very generic, extremely safe. Anyone who's a big horror fan, and I know there's a lot of people that follow me that are, and these are casual like horror fans who might dip in and out, check a few films out when they come about. That all rhymed. But for me, it just felt too safe. And yeah, there are some shocking moments, don't get me wrong. It just feels like they're kind of forced in there for shock value. And also I'd say up until the last act, film's kind of bland. They just rolled along. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the characters, I had some fun moments, there were some cool scenes, but I was kind of on my phone a lot during this film, which is a bad sign for me. If my phone's down, like you've got my attention, I've got a good movie in my hands. I was on my phone, I was getting very distracted because this film wasn't engaging at all, apart from that last scene or last act in the grocery store and beyond that. And there's a cool little scene in the school, but really it's that last third act that makes the film worthwhile. So if you are going to watch this film, just watch it for the last act. But yeah, so this film, if you're very easily distracted, it might not be for you. Overall guys, Fear Street 1994 wasn't terrible. It just was very underwhelming, generic, bit bland. I was quite distracted like I mentioned quite a lot. The characters are fun, there's some cool gore effects, I like the 90s feel and the music, but really this is nothing special. I watched the next two because the next one looks pretty cool. It's kind of more up my street in the 70s with the whole like sleepaway camp, like Friday the 13th kind of feel with it. But this one was okay to set it off, but I would never watch this again. So guys, with everything I just mentioned, I'm going to give Fear Street 1994 a bronze win and a one-time spin. And one thing I have to mention, when the film ends, dip out straight away. Because I thought, oh, there's like a mid-credit scene. It's not mid-credit scene. It's the trailer to the next one, and they basically show you every single thing that happens. They show you every character, every villain, and pretty much every death. They show the whole episode. Literally, that next episode has been massively ruined for me. So do not hang around. When as soon as it's finished and the screen cuts to black, you just cut it off. As soon as you see the first next scene or the first part of the trailer, turn it off. It gives way too much away. So guys, that was my review of Fear Street 1994. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it a snooze fest or the greatest film we've ever seen? Comment in the comments to let me know, because I genuinely am interested. And if you like this video, drop me those likes because it always does help. But until next time, stay out of trouble.